The government shutdown is in full swing. Democrats are apoplectic, blaming Republicans as Donald Trump gloats, for he has accomplished a win-win situation. Either they get to axe healthcare for illegal immigrants, keep the government open, or Democrats refuse, shutting the government down, and now Donald Trump has the unprecedented opportunity to axe Democrat agencies. He is tapping Russ Vought, who he says is of Project 2025 fame, once again triggering Democrats, to begin determining what is essential and what isn't, and then furloughing, laying people off. I mean, the sad reality is the government just doesn't have the money anymore to fund all of these federal agencies. Where do I get my Got What I Voted For Again award? Indeed. Now, Democrats are losing it because they're like, I thought Project 2025 was supposed to be fake. Trump denied it. It's a scandal. Listen, Donald Trump tapping Russ Vought does not mean literally everything from Project 2025 had something to do with Trump. But here's the reality of the shutdown. Democrats want to give illegal immigrants health care. Fact. Republicans said no. Democrats said, if you don't do this, we are going to vote no, and the government will shut down. Republicans laughed and said, okay, because we don't care. If you shut it down, we get to lay off all these people, furlough all these people, shut down all these agencies. We'll take it. Win-win, right? Now, the Democrats and the corporate press went on TV, and the liberals said that we're not trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. They're lying. This is what they always do. They use word games. Let me give you the reality of the situation. The ACA exemptions that Democrats want would extend healthcare benefits, government-funded healthcare benefits, to individuals who entered the country illegally but have asserted a right to be here. There's a big difference between someone here on a F1 or O1, like a legitimate visa, who might get healthcare, which why would we give them healthcare either? Fine. And illegal immigrants. Here's the way Democrats play the game. Someone crosses the border illegally, walks up to a border patrol agent, illegal immigrant, right? But they say, I'm going to claim asylum. And the border patrol agents, this is all under Joe Biden, would be like, okay, you're here illegally. Now we have to adjudicate your claim. They are not legally allowed to be here. It is a manipulation of the law and what people actually expect to happen in this country. Democrats argue those people are lawfully permitted. That's insanity. But fine. If you want to say, Tim, they're not subject to deportation, so technically they're lawfully permitted to be here, fine. Wouldn't it just be okay then if Democrats and liberals and the corporate press told you that's what they were arguing? Well, here's the reality. If you go to the average American and say, do you think individuals who enter the country illegally should get government-funded health care? They'd say, no. That's why Democrats are lying, manipulating the argument and saying, we don't want to do it. Chuck Schumer is like, not a single undocumented person will get access to ACA funding. Because as soon as the undocumented person, literally any person at any point, anywhere, who says, I'm a refugee. Now you're a legal immigrant. I'm not joking. That's the game they're playing. I met a CBP agent the other day. He showed me photos of the border and the things they had been dealing with. And the scandal is much crazier than anyone realizes. He showed me photos of these rooms they have full of resources and supplies, because it's not just the healthcare they're giving. They're spending millions upon millions of dollars at like one location for medical resources and supplies for illegal immigrants. In one instance, there was a man crossed the border illegally and got bit by a rattlesnake. This is one of the stories he told me. And they had to spend $100,000 on this guy. Now, by all means, I don't want this guy to die, right? We're going to give him the health care they need. Somebody gets bit by a rattlesnake, we're going to save their life. Why are we creating the circumstance where they're getting bit by rattlesnakes? Why are we telling pregnant teenagers, I kid you not, they have a whole maternity ward. I'm not even kidding. Why are we saying like, oh, if you're a pregnant teenager, come here and then we'll pay for everything? He told me this is like $50,000 per pregnant woman who comes here to give birth. And it's all facilitated by the U.S. government. Now, I don't know if that's currently the case under the Trump administration. And I told this guy, I was like, you got to blow the whistle on this stuff. You got to come out. And he was concerned about whether or not he could get in trouble and things like that. So we're going to work on the story and, maybe make some connections and see if we can get. I said, listen, man, I'm pretty sure the Trump administration would appreciate if you exposed what was going on under the Biden administration. But let me read this from Media and show you where we're currently at. Before we get started, my friends, you got to go to castbrew.com. You got to buy Cast Brew coffee. What? It's the best coffee. Everybody knows. It's so good. Even Alex Stein promotes it on his show. And there he is, screaming. We've got Josie's American Cream, the birthday blend. These are our featured blends right now. But don't get me wrong. Appalachian Nights, Graphene Dream. We got Ian's. We got a coffee for everybody. We got Phil Labonte's 2 weeks till Christmas. We got Luck of the Seamus. Focus with Mr. Bocus. Rest in peace. Check out Casper Coffee. Honestly, they're telling me we got like 2 new brews coming out. And I'm like, how many brews are we going to have? Like, we just keep making them, I guess. And they're available. They're great. All these varieties. I recommend you check them out. Support the show. Here's Mediaite. President Donald Trump announced his intention to exploit the ongoing government shutdown to bring the axe down on Democrat federal agencies on Thursday morning. Quote, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent, declared Trump in a post on Truth Social. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They're not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. We get it, Trump. Yeah, I don't think Democrats did this on purpose. They just want to give illegal immigrants health care. Here's the play. J.D. Vance pointed this out. A lot of people are pointing this out, actually, but J.D. Vance elaborated. It's because they say money is fungible. Money is fungible. If I give you $1, it doesn't matter what you spend that dollar on, you have $1. So here's the game being played. States like to give free health care to illegal immigrants. Like California is a great example. California has to pull that money from their state budget. So let's say California's got $1 million. I'm just using a random number, okay? Just a flat million. And it's going to cost $500,000 for their illegal immigrant health care. They're sitting there saying, okay, our total budget for the year is going to be $1.5 million. We might have to cut illegal immigrant health care. Along comes Big Daddy Uncle Sam, and offers up, we're going to give you $500,000 towards Medicaid for your people. California then smiles and says, of course that money will go to our people. Now their budget of $1.5 million has been accomplished. See, this allows them to divert the $500,000 that would have gone to their own citizens to illegal immigrants, take the $500,000 for the government to cover the cost of Medicaid. Money is fungible. So long as the federal government keeps giving these states money, they're going to pull from their budget to give illegal immigrants health care. And that's just one way they do it. Good luck dealing with state budgets. So long as the feds give them money, it's going to happen. How about this? How about the federal government says we're not going to give any money to a state that is providing any amount of financing for illegal immigrants? That's not the real issue at play, though. The real issue at play is that Democrats allowed in 10 to 20 million people. And when they crossed the border, this is one thing that CBP agent was telling me. He said, we were ordered. They come up to us and he showed me these videos, man. It's nuts. 500 people just sitting there. And they were told, process them. They are all now legal. Shockingly insane. They enter illegally. There's traffickers. There's kids. There's slaves. And they were told when that person walks up to you and says, asylum, you say, okay, we'll see you in 3 years, creating de facto permanent residency. They claim that person should be entitled to free health care. I say, stop the lies and the manipulation. Enough. Congressional Democrats voted against a continuing resolution to fund the government earlier this week. Oh, congressional Democrats voted against it, huh? In an editorial published on Wednesday, the Washington Post warned that Democrats may have walked into a trap laid by Trump, the same one acknowledged by the president himself on Thursday. Left-wing Democrats, like the Freedom Caucus before them, enter this shutdown in a position of weakness. President Donald Trump and his budget director, Russ Vought, now have extraordinary authority to choose which agencies to close, what spending to prioritize, and even which government workers to lay off. Indeed. Expect him to follow through in a way that maximizes pain for Democrats, who will probably face pressure from their allies in government, labor unions, after employees are fired and others are forced to work without pay. While congressional Democrats have so far put up a mostly unified front, coalescing around a demand to extend ACA subsidies that expire at the end of the year, there's no guarantee the party's resolve will last. Absolutely insane. Well, here's your good friend, Crystal Ball, who's honestly kind of gone off the deep end. She was a fairly moderate, liberal, reasonable. She says, remember when Trump pretended to have nothing to do with Project 2025? It should be a scandal that he brazenly lied to the American people about his plans when he was trying to get their votes. Talk about conspiracy. Crystal, are you implying that Trump secretly coordinated with Democrats so that they would vote no in the Senate, allowing Russ Vought to go in and gut government? If that's the case, it's not Trump who's involved in the scandal. It's the Democrats. Here we go. Look at him. Look at that sinister face. Russ Vought coming to fire feds. Mass firings will begin in a day or two. Oh, I'm so excited. OMB chief Russ Vought told House Republicans in a private call Wednesday that the administration will start mass reduction in force moves or firings of federal workers in a day or two, according to 4 people granted anonymity to describe the call. Vought and President Trump have both threatened to inflict maximum pain on Democrats during the shutdown, as Senate Republicans hope to peel off additional Democrats in the coming days to vote for the GOP-led stopgap to end the standoff. Hill GOP leaders have been wary of embracing Trump's promises to slash federal workers and benefits during the shutdown, especially given the blowback some Republicans in competitive districts will face. I don't know. I'm torn on the midterms. I'm not entirely convinced that Republicans are going to hurt all that bad. And there's one reason. Donald Trump is doing a lot to deport illegal immigrants. And I wonder how many of those people vote when they should not have been voting, or I wonder how many of these people are ballot harvesting or having ballots harvested. I think the illegal immigration enforcement stuff is going to shift the electorate in an interesting way. And I don't know if that'll actually uncover untoward electoral practices, but I have an inkling, there's an inkling that it will. They say Rep. Blake Moore of Utah, a member of Johnson's leadership team who also represents an Air Force base in his district, raised concerns on the call about firing federal workers, especially given the recent need for the administration to rehire some fight under DOJ. Vaught also warned that money is about to run out for both the nutrition program for low-income moms and babies, known as WIC, and for pay for active duty members of the military. I'm concerned about both of these things. We need more babies. We like babies. And we like our military. Troops are set to miss paychecks starting October 15th if the government remains closed. Lawmakers in both chambers are preparing legislation to pay troops amid the shutdown, but GOP leaders will wait before making a call to put such a bill to vote, given it lessens their leverage on Democrats, according to 3 other people with direct knowledge granted anonymity. Yeah, and that's true. Republicans are going to play this game. They're going to say, here's what we want. And Democrats are going to say, let's pay the military. They're going to say, sure, in this bill. Democrats are going to come out and complain, and they're going to say, Republicans won't pay the military unless we agree to these terms. Republicans are going to be like, it's the funding bill. It's the funding, like, yes or no on the funding bill. Vaught also said billions in infrastructure money for New York to the home state of Democrats is being reviewed. Oh, yeah, here we go. CNBC, Trump administration freezes $18 billion in New York City infrastructure projects, Vaught says. I love this because as I'm reading about how they're going to fire all these people, this breaking news CNBC bar just popped up saying that the S&P 500 has risen to new heights. Perhaps when you, here we go, S&P 500 rises to fresh record as traders shrug off U.S. government shutdown. Hey, breaking news for all of you. I'm sorry, Democrats. It's not working out. The Trump admin has frozen about $18 billion for 2 major infrastructure projects in New York, pending a review to ensure that the funding is not flowing based on unconstitutional DEI principles. Let me tell you, my friends, I got good news for you. I tweeted this out. Actually, I'm gonna pull this up and show you. As Trump is talking about freezing this DEI garbage, I will show you a tweet from me. This is big news. Our episode with Alex Jones, Joe Rogan from Timcast IRL has been restored. I said today YouTube finally restored Timcast IRL's episode with a massive all-star cast featuring Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Drew Hernandez, Michael Mouse, Blair White, Luke Rudkowski, and Ian Crossland. At the same time, it appears as though, excuse me, the soft ban weights that have been placed on my other channels are being lifted, and video views are starting to rise back to the pre-Biden era. The culture war isn't over, but we appear to be making huge strides in forcing back the darkness. This is the last 48 hours. I've talked about this quite a bit, that at some point, views on my channel and many others We were like, why did they like get slashed? Something doesn't make sense. Now I track the political cycles. I track the viewership cycles. It looks like we were directly censored. Hence I launched the @TimPool channel on YouTube. You can find it youtube.com/@TimPool. Subscribe. Funny enough, once I did, this new channel did not have the restrictions that we saw on the channel you're currently watching. We are winning. I don't know that we have won. Trump freezing these DEI projects, firing federal workers, all of this is part of the same play. The gutting of USAID, the stripping of these weird green slush funds, it's cutting back the deep state. And so the image I have here is, in the last 48 hours, these videos that you're seeing, I think this one right here, 776,000 two days ago. The rest are from yesterday. In one day, almost 400,000 on each of these videos. Yeah, what they were doing is called, it's a soft ban. They call it the small room ban, where they make sure your videos still get views. They don't outright ban you, but they reduce and restrict the amount of people that will end up seeing it. It seems like they finally pulled back on that one. Now, here's a challenge for Trump. The Washington Post says, we asked 1,000 Americans who they blame for the shutdown. Unreasonable requests punish regular Americans, holding the funds hostage. Republicans did not negotiate against anything Trump. Republicans have all the power. Here's what they said. The Post's poll finds significantly more Americans blame Trump and congressional Republicans for the shutdown than Democrats, though many say they're not sure. People express moderate concerns about the shutdown's impact at this early stage, with somewhat concerned the most common answer. I'm going to let you in on a secret. No one cares. Here's the real poll. No one cares. This is a Beltway story. I was talking about this yesterday on the Charlie Kirk show with Andrew Colvett. He pointed this out. Does anyone really care about the shutdown? No, they don't. To be fair, it is the biggest story, but yeah. I can take a look right now at my own analytics. And we've got the government shutdown story yesterday with 200,000 views. Joe Rogan talking about liberals has 350. The DHS going after Ilhan Omar's district over immigration fraud. Interesting. It's 350. Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think people care all that much about the shutdown. I think obviously there are politicos and people who follow stuff who are concerned. There is, however, a challenge for Donald Trump. With Trump and Republicans largely taking the brunt of the blame, this could impact the midterms. Considering we're about a year out, probably not. But because Republicans are in power, they will be blamed no matter what. Democrats are playing up this angle because they assume the average person is retarded. They are saying Republicans are the ones in power and they couldn't pass a budget. Don't look at us. Well, yeah, but in the Senate, they need more than just the simple majority. Democrats have to get on board and they're not doing it. Now, I suppose maybe they go nuclear, but they don't want to do it. If Democrats don't agree to the budget, the government gets shut down. That's where we're currently at. So who's to blame? Democrats. Republicans said, here's the bill. We've all voted for it. We just need a handful of Democrats to say yes. And all the Democrats said, nah. To be fair, not all of them, but not enough of them. Democrats are the ones who are going to choose right now, open or closed. Democrats said closed because we want these provisions. That's the reality. The Republicans represent the majority. So when the Republicans say this is the will of the voter, they're correct. Democrats then say we don't care about the voter. We care about our voters. And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing to do. Democrats are supposed to represent their constituents, but the majority of this country has agreed with the Republicans. That's why they won. They say by a 17% margin, the poll finds more saying Trump and Republicans are responsible, but 23% say they're not sure. So you have a plurality of people saying this. In essence, if it comes down to it in the midterms, I'm not actually concerned. If it was greater than 50%, I'd say they're probably going to start bleeding out support. Also, I'd like to point out again, who really cares about shutdowns? Seriously, do you? If you're a contractor for the government, you're probably pissed off because you ain't getting that money back. If you're an employee for the government, you're probably more concerned you're getting fired or laid off. A lot of people already quit. What are you going to do? I like it. I'm sorry, guys. You know, I've had people say, you know, we've gotten super chats and we've gotten comments where they're like, this is really screwing me over. I'm pissed off at Democrats. This is my job. Guys, I feel for you. I really do. I mean this sincerely, that it's terrible that you're losing your contracts or your job if you work for the government. But we all know the government was never supposed to be this massive, bloated machine. It should not be the case. And so if Trump is going to start firing and laying people off and shutting things down, it is a good thing for this country. The government is not supposed to be a guarantor of jobs. That's communism. People have become dependent on this system of getting government contracts, of taking jobs to the government and never getting fired. The government just gets bigger and bigger and more bloated. So I say, be done with ye, government. Trump is now going to get to fire tons of people. And I think the Washington Post was correct when they said this was a trap. If the Democrats don't agree to the terms of the Republicans, Trump is going to go in with a smile on his face, a big smile, and he's going to say, fire everybody. And Russ Vought is going to be the guy to do it. Democrats, you played yourselves. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up for you throughout the day. We are here, of course, in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. It's lovely out. Timcast IRL coming to you from TP USA HQ. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next segment.